I'm having
Hi,
an anxiety attack.
we are live.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. It's Amy Zerner and Monty Farber here. And if it's Monday, you know it's time for
Ask the Oracles.
And today we have a very special guest with us. We have Dr. Tranquility, our friend Lydia. And do we need tranquility now more than ever? Right, Amy?
That's right. I mean, your name, Lydia, Dr. Tranquility, it makes me feel, all I need is your name.
Glad.
Welcome, and tell us a little bit about your work.
Well, my work is very interesting. I love my work. I have three different jobs that I do. I think a lot of people do a lot of different things these days, and I'm no different. I practice mind body medicine, botanical meds, psych, and hypnotic anesthesiology, which is the use of the mind in cases of acute stress or pain to block it.
Wonderful.
So I also developed a protocol based on using these skills called date therapy. And what that is that we go in and find what you're actually looking for while you're in hypnosis. So we find the criteria for your actual, excuse me, I'm having a little allergy attack.
No, I tell
here.
you, the pollen is so amazing. You go out to the car every day, you practically have to hose it off.
So, and we find the criteria and then help you find your own self-esteem and your own confidence so that when you're out there looking for someone, you know what you're looking for. So you can go to a matchmaker, or you can go to match.com or Bumble or any of them, Tinder, if that's your thing, and you'll find your criteria. So it saves a lot of time, stress, and energy. So these are the two applications of the hypnotic anesthesiology that I use.
Well, so it helps people to find a partner if they're looking for a partner.
Yes. And it helps them to know what it is that they're looking for. Very often we have societal norms and things that we tend to follow that may not be where our heart, is leading.
That's okay. You can, we'll talk while you
Sneeze.
Yeah.
And then you can talk while we sneeze.
I was going to say that in Monty's work with his quantum affirmations, it's so important to know what you want. And sometimes it's very hard for people to hone it down and to be clear about it, because especially in love, sometimes people just say they want to meet the one, but they're not sort of identifying why they want to meet the one. You know, when you make that clearer picture in a holistic way, you're more of a magnet for what you want instead of just leaving it open-ended and dangling there.
Absolutely. And knowing what it is that you want, right? I think the problems is people try to manifest right now, and they're manifestation, but you're not asking for something that's clear.
Yes.
It's garbled, muddled, and it has all this other stuff attached to it. And then they're wondering, well, why aren't I getting it? You know, and they actually will get it if there's clarity, and this brings that clarity.
You
but
know,
it also
I was just going to say in my quantum affirmations technique, the first thing is, what do you want? That's usually the hardest thing for people, because when they come to me for a tarot reading or astrology reading, a lot of people just want to be read to or read at. I say, what do you want to know? And they're like, well, you just read me. I was like, that's not how I work, because I need to know what you want. Psychic things too. I need to hear the question.
Well, and it's also, like you said, Lydia, that people are buying into other people's voices or other people's what they think is expected or what society expects. You know, as far as having children, and the whole gamut of what we are as men and women and in between.
That's so true. Other people's expectations.
Yes.
Yeah. That throws you off your center, which is, I wonder if you can share during our show some of your relaxation techniques. And
absolutely. I'd love to.
Because people are so traumatized from the last 2 years, and we carry trauma from childhood wounds and so much anxiety now. I mean, I've read statistics of how high anxiety is for people. And we all have to be so vigilant about nipping that in the bud before it turns into chronic illness.
Yeah.
You studied with Dr. Herbert Benson, right?
Yes, I did at Harvard.
That's-
Mind, body.
Yeah,
We had the opportunity to meet him in the 90s. We were both on a TV show together, and he gave me some tips. You know, I was like a little anxious before going
Wonderful.
on this TV show, and he was so nice to us.
Yeah, our friend Carol Martin had a show called Alive and Wellness on MSNBC when it was still a network that had shows rather than just news and
Mhm.
opinion. And we were in the green room with him. He was on the set, we were on a few times, and he was on one of those times. He was wonderful. He must have been wonderful to study with.
So everybody, if you've heard of Dr. Herbert Benson, he wrote a book called The Relaxation Response. And Lydia, that's what an honor to be able to study with him.
It was an honor. And it was so funny because I actually missed my flight. And I'll never forget walking in, and I walked in a little bit late, nervous, and he automatically called on me. So he is a good person, but and a great teacher, brilliant man. But he was still a teacher. And I always remember learning from him and learning from Pam, I'm trying to think of her last name, and some of the other instructors who were there. Just an amazing experience to be able to study relaxation physiology for mind body medicine.
Right. He sort of made it acceptable to MDs because they couldn't argue with his qualifications.
Well, really, in my opinion, what mind body medicine truly is in its core, as they teach it, the relaxation response, it's really hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
A lot of it's hypnotherapy with a combination of nutrition and yoga. Excuse me.
No, I'm telling you, if we had the windows open last night, we've been dusting the sills.
So it's a combination of hypnotherapy, relaxation with nutrition and yoga practices, which is just diaphragmatic breathing, which is what brings us back to the hypnotherapy, right? Because in hypnosis, you use diaphragmatic breathing to get into the hypnotic state.
Well, and also it's really mindfulness for all those things. Be mindful of what you eat, be mindful of your thought processes. And we're all on automatic pilot so much of the time, right? Which is kind of fast thinking, where you just like do things more unconsciously. And when you're mindful in your breathing, especially, that slows everything down.
Absolutely, everything down. And also it just helps you to think more clearly. You know, if you're racing about, you can't really think clearly because you're running, you're thinking of a million things at once. By slowing yourself down, you're able to focus on what you really need in that moment and be mindful. If you're super out, it's hard to be mindful. You're mindful of the stress.
Yes. And that just escalates it, I think.
Exactly.
But yeah, and the thing is, so many of these techniques are simple enough that we can all put them in our toolbox and draw on them when we need it.
So let's have a couple or one or two.
Let's do it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is to close off your right nostril, breathing through your left.
Use your thumb.
You can, well, I tell people you can use your thumb. If you're in a meeting, you could hold your hand to your nose so that no one realizes what you're doing.
You can hide it, right? Okay.
If you're in a stressful situation in a meeting, and by closing off your right nostril, you're triggering the parasympathetic mode. And the parasympathetic mode in our nervous system is rest and digest. So also, if you've just eaten a really big meal and you want to do a little digestion, you can use the same trick. So by just breathing several times through the left side of your nose, it automatically puts you into parasympathetic mode. And that way you're able to rest a little bit. Your nervous system can calm down a little bit. And conversely, if you're feeling very sluggish and very tired and you need a little pick-me-up, you can breathe through the right side.
Oh, that's great advice.
And you'll feel
Monty taught me how to breathe when I first met him because
Well,
I was a light breather, which many of us are, right? We don't breathe deeply enough.
I had done the autobiography of a yoga course in Kriya Yoga. And a lot, well, the breath is the only thing we control. That's how the yogis control their hearts.
right.
Starting with the breath.
That's one. Another one you can use if you want to, if you find yourself worrying a lot, take your thumb, and it can be a hand, but I would recommend, I'm just right-handed, so I'm using the right hand. But you surround your thumb with your hand, and then you're going to turn it 1, 2, 3, and then you slide above and below and side to side, above and below
Okay.
and side to side. You're going to do that 3 times, and then you hold down the thumbnail.
That's a good one.
I love this one.
How is that connected?
I'm sorry?
What is it connected to?
It's relaxing you from worrying. So
Oh, I see what you mean. Like distracts your mind.
And it also relaxes you. They're pressure points.
Okay.
So it takes you into a state of relaxation for the nervous system. All these tools are relaxation tools. And what's fun about that is if you're feeling a little less confident, like you're going into an interview or you're doing something, you can use your pinky and do the same technique. And that gives you a feeling of confidence.
Okay. I like that. Many years ago, I suffered from panic attacks when I was turning 30. And I discovered the Callahan technique.
Yes.
Which is what turned into the tapping craze, I guess. He was the first one I ever read that used that. And it uses tapping places on, and it's so effective and simple also.
It is. It's wonderful. Tapping is fantastic.
No.
I first learned about excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Bless
Thank you.
We'll go medieval. We'll say bless you when you sneeze.
First learned about tapping from Wayne Dyer. He brought it up. And I'm definitely one of his followers and was blessed to be able to interview him while he was alive.
Wow.
Who? I didn't hear.
Wayne
Dr.
Oh, nice.
he's in our consciousness a lot lately.
Yes,
We're working with somebody who's like yourself, really quotes him a lot, which is wonderful.
It's changed a lot of he changed a lot of people's lives.
Well, what's fun is I was working with your cards this morning.
Uh-huh.
I wake up and I take out the cards and I light a candle and I meditate and I get a reading for the day or on a topic. So I was just working with you, and you guys are so wonderful, knowledgeable, and share so much information with all of us. So, I'm so grateful for. I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you. I do find these rituals like picking a card and the aromatherapy and the breathing that you just make a habit. They work so well. I mean,
They do.
We should all do that.
We should. We really should. It would make
Sometimes we forget, right?
Well, people don't want to take time for themselves. Unfortunately, our culture does not support self-care, unfortunately.
Well, it's starting to. The younger people are really getting into the whole self-care movement.
Well, that's wonderful.
They're getting into astrology and tarot also.
Yeah, they're really highlighting everything that we were kind of the woo-woos about. And
Yeah, we had people say, I remember this one attorney saying, "You're into astrology, you must be a cretin."
That was a long time
That was
ago.
a long time ago. I was like, you know what? That's your problem, not mine.
Exactly. Well, now the young people are so, the human design and all of these other tools. And it's exciting to watch them discovering them,
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm working on a new one. I'm doing so. I guess my magnum opus, which is taking someone who doesn't know how to read an astrology chart, and by the end of the book, they can read an astrology chart to the point where they could actually hang out their shingle. It's a challenge, but I'm going to do it.
Well, the main thing is to know yourself better. to know your triggers and to know how to calm yourself down and to know what stresses you. And if you understand your personality and the personalities of the people that you live with,
Right.
helps you cope. So
It
Monty
does.
taught me how to breathe. He had a surgery last week, a cataract surgery, which scares you, right? So I had to
Yes.
help him to calm down.
Oh,
He's usually helping me calm down.
Physician, heal thyself.
yes.
And
Full
then
circle.
his technique is to make everyone else feel better. So when he went in for the procedure, there's like 6 doctors and nurses, and he's entertaining them and telling them all about it, their charts, and because nobody ever takes care of them, right?
Well, I just want to make sure they're as calm as they could be, you know,
Yeah.
no sneezing while you're cutting into my eye.
So when I came in to pick him up, they're like, oh, "You must be Monty's wife. We love astrology." You know, there was not one person who didn't like astrology.
That's true. There was no pushback there. It was nice. And I got the operation done in a Mercury retrograde, and a blood moon, and an eclipse, and all this other stuff.
Michelle Marie's like,
She's shaking her head. How's that for Aquarian rebellion?
That's rebellion.
Well,
That's
because as Ptolemy said, the stars incline, they do not compel.
well, because you were very prepared.
Yeah.
If you're prepared. And also, when he went back for the checkup afterwards, the doctor was astounded how fast he healed, which is another thing. All these relaxation techniques help you to heal.
Right. Helps blood flow, right?
It promotes healing. It's so true. That's one of the reasons why there is an application of hypnotic anesthesiology that's where people are actually indicated for surgical procedures.
Yes.
What a wonderful thing to prepare that way.
Well, there are
Tell me about endorphins and cortisol. These are things that are triggered or not triggered, or that we need. If we have too much
Well-
cortisol, it makes us anxious, right?
for women, especially
Yeah.
of a certain age, over 40, it tends to create the belly that we can't get rid of, right? And we think it's us, and then we get more frustrated and more anxious. And it really isn't the cortisol that creates a tire around the middle.
Not
So-
just women.
Well, men do, but men can lose the weight faster. You know, women can't.
Women have such a hard. I'm serious. I'm so pissed off. You know, we're going to do a documentary. We're working on a documentary.
Oh.
We've been watching them, and a lot of them are about women artists who are underappreciated, and it's just
Which is
unbelievable.
probably every arena. Is probably women doctors and women inventors and women scientists. And
Well, Af Klimt, this is a woman who went up to Rudolf Steiner, and she was like the original abstract artist. I don't even want to call her that. She was painting what Einstein and Niels Bohr were doing in quantum physics. She was painting the images, and she went up to Rudolf Steiner, and he rejected her twice.
Oh my God.
I
Well, it was
mean,
male-
really,
it was
I'm
just-
so pissed off.
it was such a male-dominated everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, women's have to take over. I'm sorry, because
Women's.
you women's have to take over because it's not working.
Okay, we will.
Okay, good. I'm going out to potty.
Go, Colin.
What's that?
Yeah, so tips are wonderful, and they're all on my Instagram, Dr. Tranquility, Dr. Tranquility Lydia. And you'll find several tips in that account, which are just there, and you can play the videos. And
Thank
Oh, that's
you.
great.
yeah,
Well, we need a relaxed population because everyone's so uptight now. You know, every day it's
think
something
people
new
are-
to scare you.
But many people aren't aware of how stressed or uptight they are, right?
Right,
Until they hit a crisis, maybe.
right.
well, then you become, it's kind of like you're floating along on the surface, yes? And it's not this one item, but that one last thing is the straw that broke the camel's back, and now
Yeah.
you've got to acute
Yeah.
depression.
Oh,
Or
and it can be a wake-up call.
it can be, you know, and people will say to me, I don't understand how this one thing weighed me down. And I'll explain. It's like you packed a duffel bag or a weekend bag and you put a bunch of stuff in, And that one thing is just the handkerchief that you threw on top. But
That
all the
wafer thin mint. Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw the Monty Python routine, where Mr. Creosote has the wafer thin mint and then explodes.
No, I haven't.
It's
That's
it's
fun.
worth watching.
You know
I will-
what's good to do is to have some sort of reminder around. We've created affirmation cards, and we have like new decks, 3 new decks in a kit that are coming out in July. But if you put like an affirmation card to remind you of what you need to be reminded of, whether it's to breathe more deeply or drink more water or love yourself more, or to de-stress somehow, something that
Wonderful.
you trip over or will come across will help you to put you back into doing what you need to do, that little habit, that healthy habit,
Yeah,
or else we forget.
we do. And it's easy to forget. So I encourage people to do every day. It takes 2 minutes. You can do it while you're sitting on the toilet.
Yeah. Yes.
Might as well.
Your breathing exercises. You might as well keep yourself occupied, right? So just do breathing exercises. Then you can go, if you're at work, you can go into a bathroom stall, close the door, and just sit down and do your breathing exercises. You can do them while you're standing, but it's better to be sitting or lying down.
Yes. And it's sort of creating a new patterns for yourself.
New neural pathways.
That's great. See, this is the important stuff. That's why I want to thank everybody who comes here and watches our show, because I know that you're all healers in your own right and go out and become ambassadors for what we discuss on this show. So it's so great that Lydia is talking about all these wonderful techniques that are not beyond people's time and abilities.
No, and it's so quick. It's so quick. You can do this in seconds. Another, if you'd like, I can explain another little technique.
Oh, sure. That's why we're here.
So just relax and allow your eyes to close and drift back from 10 down to 1. You're going to count 10, 9, 8, 7. And as you're going down, visualize a place where you vacationed before, or a place where you feel very safe, or something in your mind's eye that you create right here. 1, and when you step off, just find a spot to relax there as we continue today. And work with your stressor box. Now, this may be a box that you create in your mind's eye. It may be made of any material that you choose: seashell, glass, wood, brick, stone. And it may be as small as a ring box or as large as a construction site dumpster. Whatever you need to work with, whatever stressors you have going on. I line my box with pillows in case I'm throwing in some humans, so that they land comfortably and safely, and I feel good about it. I don't feel guilty.
That's funny.
And just deposit. There are 2 features of the box. There's a lock and there's an ATM sort of deposit slot. You're going to deposit your stressors one by one into the deposit slot. Take the top 3. And as you make each deposit, take a deep exhalation, releasing anything that's attached. And then inhaling calm. Then move on to the next one. Anything that's attached, and inhaling calm. And then the third, anything that's attached, and inhaling calm. Then picture a balloon, and it can be any color that you choose. It may be a tranquil color like blue, a healing color like green, or an action color like red. Whatever color works for you. It may be as large as a hot air balloon or as small as a children's party balloon. Whatever works for you and your box is great. And then just wrap it around the box, tie it very securely, and
step back and just get comfortable, take a seat in your special safe place. And you'll notice that the box begins to rock back and forth, back and forth. And then it lifts off. And as it's lifting, it's going higher and higher, further and further, higher and higher, further and further. And you're feeling lighter and freer, higher and higher, further and further, lighter and freer. You're feeling so light and so free now that you've released these stressors that you can hardly remember feeling stressed. It's gone now. And we're going to ascend. 1, climbing higher, 2, 3, climbing higher, 4, 5, climbing higher, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You may open your eyes. Now, if you practice this exercise, you'll be able, I can get in and out. Like I can literally jump, run down the stairs to my safe place, into the box with all my stressors, tie the balloon around, watch it go away, and then run back up and do it in about 5 seconds. So it's just a matter of practicing. None of these techniques take a long time, and you're able to shift your body. You're able to shift into the parasympathetic mode, and that's going to keep you calm. It's going to help you to get through the moment, especially. And once we get through that first moment, we know we can get through another moment and then another moment, and then we can be calm.
Thank you. That was very tranquil.
I'm so tranquil, I've stopped talking.
Now, do you think some of these tendencies are inherited? I know I'm very much
mean,
like
in terms-
my mother was. I mean, to be a worrier or anxiety or, I mean,
Sure,
depression definitely is.
Well,
it's
you,
inherited, but you
I was
can
just
work
gonna say, you
against
can't say
what-
that's inherited. It might be from learned behavior, watching her deal with stuff.
learned behavior. Learned behavior. But you can mitigate it by using these tools.
Yes.
So that's what's so wonderful about them.
I like that you gave advice for going into, I mean, you can use it when you're going for the dentist or for a stressful meeting or
I use it,
whatever. Yeah, you have to know what your triggers are, right?
right. I will use it at the dentist if they're doing something major, I will hypnotize myself before, for them to put the Novocaine into my mouth.
Mhm.
Yeah, that horse needle.
Oh, not good.
I know, and they love to show it to you, like they used to show the implements of torture during the Middle Ages.
I know. I
It's
don't
like-
think they changed the tools.
Well, I hear something funny. Monty went for, you have to get a physical before this operation. So the
Isn't that
nurse,
hilarious?
the nurse told him that she has white coat syndrome.
Yes. Oh my
So
God,
the
yes.
nurse that takes his blood and his blood pressure, she has white coat syndrome. And then I went for a mammogram, and the woman told me that she cries from anxiety every time she herself, the technician, gets a mammogram.
Oh,
And then we
wow.
have a holistic doctor who's afraid of needles. So I'm just saying, it doesn't.
Everybody needs your techniques,
I kinda-
Dr. Tranquility.
It kind of was comforting that they're human, right?
Well, I've had blood draws from people who say they can't stand the sight of their own blood and they faint. I don't know if they're just saying that to put me at ease or what, because I don't care. It's not like I'm saying, oh my God, I'm afraid. They could take
Right.
all the blood. I wouldn't even notice it.
Think about it, right? It's so funny
Yeah.
when they're saying it, and then it occurs to you, oh goodness, that's right, I'm having blood draw, which it didn't occur to you at all until they mentioned it.
Well,
Well,
I guess it's what you do all the time. Like we read people all the time with our cards, but if it came to me asking a question, I get a little nervous to see what the cards are going to say. So
Right. When I went to Jeffrey Wands, who's like one of the best in terms of being able to contact the other side. And he was like, well, what do you want to know? I was like, well, I don't really know. I had to wait 6
People
months
ask
for
me
the
all the time.
appointment. But he was able to see Amy's grandmother and my father without me even being in the room. He was able, and
Wow.
to get her name, her nickname. So, I mean, it's a
Wow.
magical world we're all living in, But what you're talking about is the ultimate make your base secure. Because if you're stressed and distracted, you're not functioning on 100% level. And how can you interface with the world? So the techniques you're giving us are
Essential.
essential. Yeah, it's no nonsense. This is what should be taught in schools.
And also what you were doing with the visualization. I mean, that's what so much of our work is about. And it's something that you can get better at with practice.
So when's your
And
book
it's
coming
fun.
out?
It's fun also to see the movie
It
in
is.
your mind, and you can play with it.
Yes, and it's fun to see how fast you can get in and out. You know, I
Yeah.
love seeing.
Are you an Aries? That sounds very Aries.
I'm a Taurus, but I rising.
Okay.
But you said you're Aries rising? Oh, okay.
You're Aries rising, something
Aries,
like
you got to get in there fast.
Right.
I know.
So are you doing a book? I know you have a website. I don't mean to dump stuff on you, but to me, it seems like your work is essential and everybody in the world should know about it.
Oh, I thank you. I love my work. There are practitioners who are doing it also. There's I work nationally and actually internationally also,
Great.
but in a specific area of the country, and you want help face-to-face in-person sessions, you can always go to the National Guild of Hypnotists and find the hypnotherapist that's in your area.
Yeah, but you have the great name, so you could it would look great on a book cover.
Dr.
love my-
Tranquility presents.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole thing. I mean, who doesn't want that? You know, because your
I don't
name is
know.
actually
Maybe some people don't want tranquility. We do.
well, you know, you might be right about that, because the other day I did a Facebook post about honesty and we won't be fooled again, and got a lot less than scaring the pants out of people about
Drama.
some astro event.
Well, people are addicted to drama, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, look at CNN, MSNBC,
Yeah,
Fox,
Fox News.
Lion.
It's like the old Henny Youngman joke where he says, my brother-in-law thinks he's a chicken. He says, well, why don't you take him to a doctor? He says, I need the eggs. I think a lot of people need the eggs of drama. They say they don't want it, but they
That's
do.
a high anxiety level to maintain, right?
It's like a drug. Maybe they're addicted to
It's a
adrenaline.
to that feeling of
Yeah.
the adrenaline.
Yeah, because right now there's an astrological thing called the Barbeau cycle. And it has shown that throughout history, when the outer planets coalesce into a tight grouping, it usually indicates big doings here on Earth. And we certainly have them. Big doings on Earth. And right now things are locked up. You can actually see it. You know, everything is sort of here in
Wow.
this one section. I mean, this is Pluto to the sun, and the only reason it's even this wide is because the sun has broken out of the whole Taurus thing, and Mercury today retrograded back into Taurus. So today is the day that the Mercury retrograde should really show its little ugly face for everybody. That's
When we need our breathing techniques for all these little
Yeah.
setbacks and frustrations and technical problems. And
yeah. For some reason, we are not having technical problems for the first time
today,
today. So you know, they manifest as extremes. You know, that's and once again, the stars incline; they do not compel. So don't get scared. But I love all these I really got into your putting the anxieties in the box.
I like that.
Your
That's-
descriptions were wonderful, from a ring size to a construction site 40-yard container.
How big
Oh.
was
Big.
That's actually a script by Marlene Hunter, MD. And she's a medical doctor who uses hypnotic anesthesiology and hypnotherapy in her practice
It was good.
with her patients. She's a wonderful writer, and she's written a few script books now.
it helps you feel more in control.
Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't ready to have mine float away because I
wanted to
was
hold it?
installing seats for all the people that had to, you know, the cushions weren't enough. I wanted it to look like the inside of a school bus.
Hey, the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it.
I
I
agree.
think so too. Hey, do you have anything else to share? I mean, when people are traumatized, that's pretty heavy, right?
Oh, well,
They're already at
that's a whole different scenario.
100 watts.
Yes, and it's a whole different scenario, excuse me, and we're doing a completely different type of induction.
This
This
is
is
preemptive, preventative things that you're giving us. But say you're already,
The wheels have come off.
yeah.
well, then I would highly recommend that you use, see a practitioner, see a therapist, use hypnotic anesthesiology in the therapeutic model also, and keep yourself, it will help to keep you balanced, strong. Your breathing is good, so you're getting oxygen. Oxygen's getting in your body and floating all around and getting into all those yummy cells and doing great stuff. So it will help to calm you down, and it gives you a sense of control.
Yes.
That wonderful sense of, okay, I can do something here that isn't medication, because not everyone can take medication.
Yes.
Correct. Or
And plus, I
should.
think when you make the adjustments yourself, I think it's more long lasting because so many medications cover up the symptoms, right?
All medication has side effects. I don't care what anybody says, because some people are allergic to foods. It's like since having the cataract operation, they give you drops to put in your eye. And as somebody who doesn't take medicine, I feel it. I felt it when I put those drops in, because it has prednisone, one of them's an antibiotic. So, in our society, people are taking a lot of drugs or even vitamins.
Well, because we want quick fixes, right? In
Right.
general.
And they interact.
People don't like feeling the way they feel, so they want to alter it, whatever, with the drink, with the drug, with the.
Well, that's why these
But we
techniques
can
are
alter
so
it this
valuable.
way,
Right, I
yeah.
love it.
Or
This
get
is a
back
hel-
to who we really are.
This is a wonderfully healthy way. You're so right, Amy. It's a wonderfully healthy way to get in tune with yourself and rebalance yourself.
Yes.
Know that you're going into a stressful meeting. If you're dealing with a friend who's really stressed out and you want to get your boundaries in check, take a moment, your own breathing. Use the left, closing off the right, breathing through the left side of the nostril, and then listen to them.
Yes, those are wonderful techniques, and as a species, we're used to. Well, I haven't seen that person in a while. Well, here they come. It's been 6 months since I saw them. We've been working here on the farm.
Open.
Now it's just like a dump truck comes in with all kinds of emotional stuff every morning, dumps it into your.
Well, we're all highly vulnerable.
Well, you look at
because we've been by
Facebook.
ourselves.
Happy birthday in heaven. There's
Yeah.
like 50 of those. And then there's all kinds of other things. There's so much emotion, so you're triggered. I hate to use that word, but you are triggered as if you stepped on a mine with all the stuff about I lost my pet. We know how emotional that is. And we all need these techniques you're talking about every day, all day.
Well, it not only helps you, but it helps you help other people if you're in your center.
Right. You've got to put your mask on first before you can put someone else's mask on.
Exactly, Ruti. So true.
Yeah. I mean, I loved doing that exercise with you before. It was good. And I don't even have that many troubles.
You don't get scared.
Well, that's right.
Well, growing up in Brooklyn, I don't get scared anymore because it's not as horrible as it used to be. You walk outside, there's somebody who wants to beat the crap out of you. But that doesn't happen much anymore.
Hey, Lydia, do you like, we love the Bach flowers or flower essences also for emotional issues.
I do. I love Bach. And I think it's a wonderful tool. And it's a wonderfully self-empowering tool too. There's also a book called the Herbal Encyclopedia. And that's a wonderful tool for beginners trying to get into herbology.
Yeah.
There's an image, there's an illustration, and then there's a breakdown of exactly what the herb does and any contraindications that may be there. So it's sort of like the herbal PDR.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, physician's desk reference.
Right. There's an herbal version, a botanical version. But honestly, I find that the encyclopedia is a little bit better, or the commissionee monographs are a little bit better still, rather than the herbal PDR, because the herbal PDR assumes that the way you're going to consume the herb is the same way you would take a tablet. And that's not the most beneficial way to utilize herbal medicine.
Mm.
I see. That's really
It's a
interesting.
lot. It's a lot to learn about.
When I used to be a location scout in the movie business, location manager, I carried Rescue Remedy with me
Mm.
because movie sets were very stressful. And I would give it to people and they'd think I was nuts, but they would take it. And then the thing with the Bach flowers is you take it, you forget you were stressed to begin with.
I always carry it. Yes.
Yeah, and the cream, if you bruise if you bump yourself or you think you're going to get a bruise, you put the cream on. A lot of times you don't get the bruise, which is kind of magical.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's called Rescue Remedy, everybody. I'm not prescribing.
Rescue.
I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on Zoom.
It
But
can't hurt you.
no,
It
yeah,
won't
We're very into natural things, except for my hair.
it does have alcohol in it. The Rescue Remedy does have alcohol. I think they might have come out with a non-alcoholic version.
non-alcoholic version. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, good. Susan has it.
Susan knows. She knows all about these things.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Well, it's so wonderful that there's so many tools that we have now. I mean, I look around these days, and without totally giving my age away, I can remember a time when we didn't have these resources at all.
When we
Yeah.
didn't have the internet, you mean?
I can remember that too, basically. But
Amy and I are in our
It's
70s.
like, how do we get in touch with people without cell phones? I can't remember.
We didn't want to get in
Did we
touch
write
with-
letters?
How did we meet without the internet? We at the filming of a porno movie. That's how it worked.
That always works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
tell us about your dating, the dating aspect of your work.
Speaking about
Speaking of
meeting at a porno movie, the filming of a porno movie. Not going to watch it, filming it. Sorry.
well, the dating aspect is really amazing. Excuse me. The dating aspect is really amazing because it helps. First of all, you go into a relaxed state, and that's always a nice way to start thinking about dating anyway, right? And then you find, without giving the protocol away, you find what you're looking for in terms of your criteria. I'll ask you a series of questions and you'll be able to answer me. And then when you come out, people will look at the questions that they answered and they're shocked by the way that they answered them. So I ask the same questions of you before you go into the hypnotic state. And then I ask the questions again once you're in the hypnotic state. And very often my answers are different. Now, this protocol is only 3 sessions, 3 and done. Because I believe if you need more than 3 sessions, then you're really coming to me for something else. And usually we'll flip them over into more of Dr. Tranquility rather than date therapy.
Mm.
But I've had great successes. I was just working with a young man. He's a very interesting young man. It's called, he has a company called Kismet Capital, and they fund affordable housing, excuse me, and build affordable buildings in New York City. And he took the protocol with me and we worked on some things with him. He was very proactive and really used his time wisely. And by the time we were finished the next week, he had a girlfriend.
Wow.
She was someone in his life, so that he hadn't been looking at that way because he had this criteria list in front of him that was saying, oh no, she can't possibly be the one, right? So after the protocol, he looked at her differently. And they've been going together now for several months and they're happy. They're very happy.
That's very interesting because I know I've seen when Monty does readings for people looking for someone, sometimes the cards will say they're right around you and the person will say, no, they're not.
Mhm.
Well, it's the same kind of thing. They're not seeing what the possibilities of people that they know who probably already are into them, right?
Well, I had a great list when I met Amy. I'll never go out with anyone who smokes cigarettes. I'll never go out with anyone who wears eye makeup. You know, I was a vegan.
I guess you
I'll
didn't
never
really
go out.
believe that list.
I met Amy. I didn't give a shit anymore. It's just like, you know what? Screw all that list. Luckily, I was able to get out of my own way. So somehow I must have hypnotized myself into being myself, really.
Well, there's so many issues when people are looking, you know, their self-esteem issues. And I mean, we know people sometimes are looking for someone with money or somebody who wants to have kids or things that might not be for their highest good or greatest joy, really, but because they bought into what they think they're supposed to be looking for. I mean, if we were looking for someone with money, we never would have met each other.
Oh my God. And astrologically, and Michelle Marie can confirm this. Amy and I have the kind of charts of people who shouldn't marry anybody, let alone each other, because we're very independent. But yet, when you put the charts together, they work.
That's wonderful.
You know, because people will come to me and say, "I'm a Taurus. Well, can I go out with you know, an Aquarius?" I'm like, "Don't."
Susan just
worry.
said Monty knew I was in a relationship before I did.
That's interesting. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, because you can't just go by sun sign astrology to say what works with people. I mean, one of the things, I don't know if Michelle Marie's seen this, but I've seen a lot of Leos, 2 Leos in a relationship.
That works.
And it works. Yeah, long-term
They're
relationship.
very affectionate.
I guess. I mean,
They need attention. They give attention.
the stars incline, they do not compel. It's all individual, right? Peanut butter for one person is a great lunchtime food and it'll kill somebody else.
Amazing. I'm currently dating a Cancer, so that's been kind of fun. So when we get on each other's nerves a little bit, I just remind him, you may have claws, but I have hooves.
Oh, yeah, but
Now, did you take him on his relaxation journey?
I bet you did. Well, I'll leave the room and let you girls talk about that.
I have hypnotized him for relaxation only. I do not manipulate him. So I did not do the date therapy protocol with him because we started dating. My nose is driving me crazy here. Excuse me.
No, I'm telling you, it's like that here. We had to close the windows. So we have mindful astrology, which will teach the sun, moon, and rising sign, which we call the celestial trilogy. So that's something that
Oh, wow.
that helps to explain why, oh my God, our sun sign astrology says we shouldn't be together, but the moon and the rising sign, it's a good way to jump off of the sun sign stuff.
Yeah, Monty's moon's conjunct my sun. That's something, you know, if your sun's conjunct somebody's rising.
You'll be
there's,
friends at the very least.
That's wonderful.
Well, that guy's lucky to have you. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm lucky too.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling.
Yes,
but I
do.
think it's wonderful that you use, and one of your specialties is helping people find the one, because that's the question a lot of people come to a reader for. And a lot of times I'll say, if they were the one, you wouldn't be here asking me.
Right.
But I think your technique is a lot better in terms of interacting with people.
Shem is asking about Aries and Pisces together.
Well, you can't tell.
That's kind of general, but in general, Aries are, you know, more aggressive than Pisces.
Yeah, but check this out. The way Mercury is never more than 30 degrees from the sun and Venus is never more than 60 degrees from the sun. So yes, you're a Pisces, or yes, you're an Aries, but you might have planets in Pisces. Or if you're an Aries, you might have planets in Taurus or Gemini. You know, that's why sometimes it works. And remember, Venus is never more than 2 signs away from the, well, it can be 2 signs, more than 2 signs, but it's never more than 60 degrees. So that's how it works astrologically, not like the stuff you see on Refinery 21 or
sometimes they're
Mind Body
going
Green.
a little deeper lately.
Well, okay, if you say so, because we do things for them and we try and keep the real astrology going. Though the thing we got the most response for was what flavor ice cream. Like, I swear to God, we got millions. It went to India and China, to 2 biggest newspapers in the world. And
wow.
Oh my God. And we did it for fun. But that's life, right?
Yeah. It's amazing how it works, isn't it?
It is, but I think if you're not relaxed and if we don't use the techniques and
Well, then you can be more intuitive. I mean, it's a snowball effect. If you're in your center, more relaxed, then you can make better decisions. You can have better relationships. Your intuition kicks in.
well, the techniques that Lydia's talking about and that she shared with us, it helps you to relax. You know, just the way they say sometimes if an infant falls out of a window, they don't get hurt because they're relaxed. A lot of times when we're all upset, we're tensed, we're clenched. And
Yeah.
Blocking real information.
yeah, so when you get hit, you get hurt, as opposed to if you're relaxed, you're like water, you absorb it. To me, what you're talking about is the essential aspect of don't leave the bed without getting in touch with the techniques you're talking about, because you want to be prepared for the day.
Also for sleep, right?
Yes, it will help you go to sleep. It's wonderfully relaxing because you're working with the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind comes out to play when we go to sleep, and it deals with all of our issues, right? It works through some of our issues. And so when you're working with the subconscious mind in hypnotherapy, then your subconscious mind is accustomed to coming out and playing. And so you're really able to get in and get out more quickly and accomplish more in a shorter period of time. None of these techniques take a long time.
I know, that's what's wonderful about them.
Sometimes if I have to come in, when I'm going to sleep, I don't really have trouble sleeping, but I'll just do the simple breathe in to the count of 4, hold it for the count of 4, let it out for the count of 4.
Mhm.
I fall right to sleep with that because you have to let go of the day.
Yes.
And we do have that monkey mind sometimes.
Yes. And the relaxation just helps you to do that. So it's wonderful. You're so right, Amy. It helps you to relax and you're not carrying all that junk to bed with you.
Yeah, it'll be there the next day. We don't have to worry.
That's so true. It's so true.
Listen, do you have another little thing you can share with us before we close?
Let's see.
You don't have to.
I'm just thinking. I know all of a sudden I can't think of them, right? I do these.
Well, one of the things that helps me sleep is I forgive. Start with forgiving myself, and then I forgive my parents. You know, they were just people who were young people trying to deal with a crazy child, like I'm sure I was. And, you know, you just go, and by the time I get to forgiving somebody else, I'm gone. I'm asleep. So that's just one technique.
Yeah.
And then I use the Sufi meditation technique. Puts me right to sleep. It's not supposed to, but it does. Where you say you're not your name. And you do that 3 times as you're breathing. Breathing is always part of every one of these
regular breathing.
I'm not my name, and then 3 times when I'm not what I do for a living, because first of all, I don't know what I do for a living, and then the third thing is you shut off your senses one at a time, which my father did. For some reason, he learned to do it in the military as a way to sleep. You know. And
Well,
then
you turn off your sense of touch, you turn off your sense of sight. You just,
yeah,
I always see it like a little switch where you just turn off each one and then you're asleep by the time you turn them all off.
right. I think I have to do techniques to learn how to wake up.
Well, that's breathing also, right?
Morning coffee routine.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I
Definitely.
think stress puts you in a foggy state.
Oh wow, you're not kidding around.
No,
Was that a bucket?
it looks like one, doesn't it?
It does. Oh my God. Oh, it's because you were close to it's huge.
It is huge.
We have a Nespresso machine, which I highly recommend for everybody.
Oh.
And it makes the coffee really fast and really good, and you don't need anything else in it. We didn't take coffee till we were in our 50s.
I guess some
No?
people consider coffee a drug.
Coffee is a drug.
Yeah.
Coffee's a whole other thing. It's a lot of fun, actually. But
It's great. It's the antithesis of relaxation exercises.
exactly. I was just about to say it winds you up. So, but yet for some reason, when I was going for that operation, they're like, one of the things you could have is coffee. Oh yeah, I really need that. You know, so I could be in the room. And I don't know if anyone's had state-of-the-art equipment, cataract surgery, but the new equipment makes music like video games,
Really?
like Mario Brothers.
Brothers.
And and if something's going wrong, it starts making the danger music. Like, thank God I didn't hear it, but I heard them talking. I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like a video game. And then I was asleep or whatever.
I'm
So
glad you're
today has
successful.
been very valuable. I think it's
Very
been
relaxing.
one of the most valuable Ask the Oracle shows we've ever done.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm so excited and honored to be on. And I want to get you guys back on my show again soon.
For sure.
I don't know how you found us, but you did.
Well, she has our
We found
card.
you. Is that how you found us?
I asked you if you would do an interview and you said yes.
I know, but because you had our cards or? Oh,
Cards.
okay.
And I saw you had posted one of your cards, one of your beautiful tapestry cards. And I'm like, that card looks familiar. I know that card. And then, and I think we probably met somehow via Mark Becker and New Life Expo. I found.
Wow.
Ah, yes.
There's a name from the past. That guy's been doing it forever.
I know he's moving it to Long Island this year.
Oh, that's great.
It's coming up the 4th and the 5th, I think.
Oh
And
my
if
God. I remember seeing Michael Luton at one of his things. Michael Luton is a great astrologer. He did this performance about Pluto, and he did it from under the covers in a bed that they had set up in the, it was amazing.
Yeah, we fell in love with them then.
I mean, he's just so talented, so talented. But Mark, God, he has been doing the New Life Expos.
he's still doing it. He's still doing it. It's
That's incredible.
Our
June
friends just
4th.
had a conference in Dallas. It was like an in-person conference for divination, and we spoke by Zoom because we couldn't go. But I think people really need to get back. They love it, right? In
Yeah.
person.
You know,
Back in person, you can get so much out of those events and the energy that's shared. And we love our Zoom events like this. We're going to be back. Jeff is going to join us on the 30th.
on the 30th.
You know
yes.
what, guys? I think we're going to do live readings then
Yeah.
on May 30th.
We're going back to our old
You get your
format.
questions ready. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
Ready?
And I just want to say things. I think one of the reasons people like this show and that like the divination systems and oracles and tarot astrology that Amy and I do is because we give people hope, because we're having the party now, not waiting for the party in the future. And things are getting
Right.
better. They are really. Amy has never sold so much as she's selling at Bergdorf Goodman now. So obviously people are starting to go out again.
Yeah. Oh,
There's
they
a
are.
lot of hope.
They're out and about.
Yeah, I think
And
rather than be scared to death by the fear du jour, I think people
you
have
mean
to,
monkeypox?
oh my God, the poor monkeys now. That's they're shaming monkeys. I don't like that. I like monkeys. But I think we really have to throw off the yoke of fear, do the relaxation exercises.
Take care of ourselves, take
that-
care of the people we love.
Right, and just use these relaxation exercises to counteract the fear that's dumped in our
Yes.
screens
Must
every
be
day.
stay vigilant.
Absolutely. And they will work. They work.
They will. And so thank you, Dr. Tranquility. Thank
Thank you for
Lydia.
joining us. Thank you, Lauren.
And thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next week, because if it's Monday, it's time for Ask the Oracles. We did it. Yay.